I raised to oppose this bill. This bill needs more deliberations, more debate and discussion before it's brought to this House. When you look at it now, it has more omissions and commissions than what is actually going to benefit this country. Climate change has increased the risk of natural disasters, increase in global surface temperatures, leading to more powerful storms, droughts, acidification, huge wildfires, sea erosion, leading to loss of lives, livelihood, and displacement. The effect of climate change is just not something we seem to be realizing. Because all over the world, the floods, the fires, the droughts are unprecedented. Countries have never seen something like this happening. And in India, practically every day, we see a state flooded, affected, landslides. I think it's time that we take disaster management much more seriously. There's no harm in hoping for the best, as long as you are prepared for the worst. We can never take anything for sure in this world, except for, of course, Honorable Member Nishikant Dubey's 0 hours, which I don't think anything else can be taken as a sure thing. And every time there is a cyclone, the union government proudly proclaims that you want the states. But sadly, the radars you have are not powerful enough to predict the storm in advance, giving us adequate warning. Your information is more like astrological predictions and not modern weather forecasts. Only when the storm is within 150 kilometers, you are able to give any clear information or indication about the storm. And that is practically just 1 day's notice. What can a state really do? How many people can it move to more protected areas? What can it actually do in a day's time? Whereas if you upgrade your high-end radars and if you're able to predict, because many of the countries are able to predict storms and disasters, particularly cyclones, at least when it is 300 kilometers away. That is 3 days of warning. If you are able to give state governments 3 days of warning, that will make a lot of difference in protecting the people and in moving them to safer places. And using satellite images with AI interpretations will also be very helpful and give us a clearer picture of disasters, because so many other kinds of disasters we are not able to understand or able to predict. You call yourselves global teacher, Vishvaguru. Then we cannot be unprepared. If you're going to teach the world, if you're going to lead the world, I think we should show leadership in disaster management and protecting our people. But we don't seem to be really caring, because most of the times it is the underprivileged, the poor and the farmers who are the worst hit. We know how this government treats its farmers. So you've taken away their right to speak, dignity of life and liberty. And now we can't take their lives away too. Like most of the bills passed by the NDA, this bill is also detrimental to state rights. Cooperative federalism, which you keep talking about, has become confrontational federalism in reality. Disaster management is a state subject. Any amendments without consulting the states will have negative impact on disaster response. Para 6.1 has proposed including technical guidance to state governments and the authorities. Does it mean that the state will be bound by the advice of the union? And the bill proposes to create a national level, state level disaster database. This is something I think everybody of us over here will welcome. But will that study really be a in-detail study of all the terrains, all the villages, all the cities, all the states, districts, all the landscape, the terrains, and it has to include if Tamrabarani breaches, you should be able to understand through the data which are the areas which will get affected, which are the settlements which will get affected. If a lake breaches, if a river breaches, this is the kind of data which has to be included in the database. And the most important thing is once you collect data and create a database, most of the time the state governments are not able to access that data. This should not be the case because we're playing with lives. It should be easily accessible to the state governments also. And we have to understand that sea erosion, and we have a very long coast, and every coastal city and village has the problem of sea erosion. Coastal areas are getting eroded, and also there are predictions that many of the cities in this country will be submerged. Many parts of the cities will be submerged underwater. So we have to take this into consideration and plan ahead to keep our people safe. Section 8B, a new insertion in the bill, talks about a high-level committee. This will act as a nodal body to decide whether the disaster is a serious major disaster or not. I'm worried that because this committee does not have powers on its own, it will be completely under the government. So when it is under the government and it has to decide according to the government, maybe only serious disasters will only happen in double engine states, where the single engines will be left to fend for themselves. The bill fails to ensure disaster relief as a justiciable right. Tamil Nadu has had to go to the Supreme Court for aid after it was affected very badly by the cyclone Migzam. 37,000 crores which it wanted to rebuild the lives of the people, the thousands and thousands of people, the houses we lost, the farmlands we lost, to rebuild their lives. Our Chief Minister asked the Union government and the Prime Minister for aid to help these people in distress. But we did not get a single rupee from the Union government. And today, we are forced to go to the Supreme Court. Wayanad has, it was such a bad disaster in front of our eyes. But they have not got any help. So why is it that a state government has to be forced to go to Supreme Court every time there is an issue, every time there's a problem, every time we need help? We have to approach the court to get justice for us. And the state had to argue that the center's inaction violates citizen rights to equality and life with dignity under Article 14 and 21 of the Constitution. You want to constitute a separate urban disaster management authority for state capitals and municipal corporations. What is the point in it? Creation of multiple authorities without clear demarcation of powers leads to a lot of confusion, bureaucratic inefficiency, and that is all. Already we have different departments handling with different calamities. The Center for Seismology and Meteorological Department handle earthquakes. Mining disasters by Department of the Mines. This actually only leads to delays, and it starts a blame game among the departments. It is high time we need one department, one agency, and maybe it's time for the government to think of one particular ministry, separate ministry for disaster management, to take care of the number of disasters which are happening practically every second day in this country. For example, the West Bengal Chief Minister, Madam Mamata Banerjee, has said the floods in South Bengal 2023 was caused by deliberate mismanagement of the DVC. They release water without consulting us, and now people are suffering. So this is what happens when you have various multiple agencies without any clear demarcations, and too many people will not be able to deliver anything. In section 44A, you said you will constitute a state disaster response force for specialized responses. But there is no mention about who will be funding for this mechanism. There's a proverb in Tamil. ஆத்துக்குள்ள நின்னு அரோகரான்னு சொன்னாலும் சோத்துக்குள்ளதான் இருக்கான் சொக்கநாதன். So, if you don't tell us who's going to fund it, again that burden will come on us. So I think the bill has to be very clear about who is going to fund this disaster response force for specialized response. India has, and moreover, India has witnessed over 5,000 deaths from 2014 to 2020 due to heat waves. Due to global warming, it's expected to increase and become frequent, the heat waves. The government has to notify heat waves as a disaster. The Tamil Nadu government under our Chief Minister, M.K. Stalin, has declared heat waves as a state-specific disaster, enabling relief and ex gratia payment of 4 lakhs to the families of the deceased. I like to say it, even if you wouldn't want to hear it, it's a Dravidian model government. So we lead by example. So this is one more thing you could think of following us. Allocation of funds under the SDRF. Its 30% weightage is given to population and the area. This puts states like Tamil Nadu, which has controlled population, at a very big disadvantage. You're giving 30% weightage for the funds to be released to us. It puts us at a disadvantage. It is like you're punishing us for making sure that our population is under control. இது நல்ல படிச்சு நல்ல மார்க் வாங்குற பிள்ளைய கொண்டு போய் கிளாஸ் விட்டு வெளியில நீல அப்படின்னு சொல்ற மாதிரி ஒரு நிலைமையதான் இங்க நாங்க பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம். தொடர்ந்து எல்லா விதங்களிலுமே தமிழ்நாடு முன்னேறிய மாநிலமாக இருக்கக்கூடிய காரணத்தாலேயே, மக்களை பற்றி கவலைப்படக்கூடிய மாநிலமாக இருக்கக்கூடிய காரணத்தாலேயே, நாங்கள் தொடர்ந்து நல்லாட்சி செய்து கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய காரணத்தாலேயே நாங்கள் மிகப்பெரிய அளவிலே தொடர்ந்து பாதிக்கப்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கிறோம், வஞ்சிக்கப்படுகிறோம். கேரளாவும் எங்க பக்கத்துல இருக்கக்கூடிய கேரளாவும் அதே பிரச்சனை தான். ஆமா, நீங்க 2 கையும் விரிச்சு காட்டுறீங்க, அதே நிலைமை தான். விரிச்சுட்டாங்க, கையை விரிச்சுட்டாங்க. சென்ட்ரல் யூனியன் கவர்மெண்ட் நம்மளை பார்த்து கையை விரிக்கிறாங்க. The disaster risk index. You are putting us.
इनके प्रश्नों का उत्तर दिया जाएगा, लेकिन एक ही आग्रह है, जरूर आज जब होता है कि मोदी सरकार जो की है, हर प्रश्नों का जोरदार उत्तर है और शानदार काम किया गया है, इसलिए दिया जाएगा.
Yes, thank you. That is why I am speaking. We want a good reply.
Minister, that is why we have gone to Supreme Court, taking the begging bowl.
The disaster risk index.
We are not part of the union.
You've put us along with the West Coast. Historical study shows eastern coastal states are more prone to cyclones due to wind movement in the atmosphere circulation. But you have not put us in the high risk category.
Only Gujarat.
So please, to be fair, you have to put Tamil Nadu in the high risk category along with Andhra, because we are faced with frequent cyclones and storms, and it's increasing. Now, I'd like to, the minister, I hope he has a reply for this particularly, because I like to read some numbers out. We do not deny the fact that when there is a storm or a
माननीय सदस्य
disaster,
कंप्लीट करिए प्लीज, समय पूरा हो गया, कंप्लीट करिए,
only speaker,
कंप्लीट करिए.
Speaker, madam.
yeah, few minutes.
And minister interrupted.
In 2015 to 16, when there was floods in Tamil Nadu, they asked for 25,000 crores. What we got was 1,737. When there was a drought, when 39,565 crores was asked, we got 1,748 crores. When there was Varda cyclone, when it hit us, what we asked for is 22,573 crores. What we got was a mere 266 crores. Then again, when Oki cyclone hit Tamil Nadu, we wanted 9,302 crores. We got 133 crores. Gaja, 17,000 crores, 17,899 was asked. We got 1,146. Then again, when Nivar cyclone came, when 3,758 was asked, we got 63 crores. Then again, there were rains and floods and memorandums were given, nothing came. And now, last year again, we had cyclones and Tamil Nadu was badly hit, we got nothing. Thoothukudi, my own constituency, was so badly affected. We got nothing, not a penny.
Empty promises. Ministers listed.
Now, cyclone Migja. Around 37,000 crores was asked, we got nothing. Now the Tamil Nadu government has been forced to go to the Supreme Court to get justice. And the cyclone Fengal. First, initially, the chief minister asked for 2,000 crores. Then after the central team visited, we asked for 6,675 crores. We have got nothing. But then the central government announced that the union government
Please,
announced
Manya Sadhya,
that
complete
it got
please complete.
2 minutes, 2 minutes. Announced 2 minutes. I'm finishing. They announced that they're giving 944 crores and made it sound like they're giving us compensation for the floods and the cyclone. But actually, it was the STRF money which they had to pay. You're not giving us any money from the NDRF. But whereas the states have to bear all the brunt of what happens to its people, to the farmers, to the lands, houses washed away, lives lost, we have to take care of all of them. But you call this as one nation. And GST compensation. Tamil Nadu has lost nearly 20,000 crores in GST compensation. We've lost our fiscal autonomy. How do you expect
माननीय सदस्य प्लीज
us to
कंप्लीट
take care
करिए.
of our people?
1 minute, madam.
விவசாயிகள் ஆயிரக்கணக்கான ஏக்கர் நிலங்களை இழந்து அதில் இருக்கக்கூடிய பயிர்கள் அழுகி கண்ணீரும் கம்பலையுமாக கடனோடு நின்று கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். வீடுகள் சிதைந்து உடைந்து போய் தன் பிள்ளைகளோடு தெருக்களிலே மக்கள் நின்று கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள்.
धन्यवाद माननीय सदस्य जी.
இப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு நிலையிலே
कंप्लीट.
இங்கே இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒன்றிய அரசாங்கம் ₹1 கூட தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு மக்களுக்கு மாநில அரசுகளுக்கு தர முன்வராமல் இப்படி கல் நஞ்சோடு நடந்து கொள்வது என்பது ஏற்றுக்கொள்ள முடியாது. இது தொடர்ந்து தமிழக மக்களை வஞ்சித்துக் கொண்டே இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு நிலையிலே நிச்சயமாக விரைவிலே இதற்கு ஒரு தக்க பாடம் சொல்லித் தரப்படும்.
माननीय सदस्य श्री केसी नैनी शिवनाथ जी 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 निष्काल जी माननीय सदस्य
क्या विषय क्या है?
एक मिनट माननीय सदस्य विषय क्या है?
मेरा नाम लिया है माननीय संसद महोदया ने। इस हाउस में क्वेश्चन आवर और 0 आवर वो स्पीकर साहब अपनी व्यवस्था के साथ तय करते हैं, कोई सरकार तय नहीं करती है। केवल सोरोस का सबसे ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट डीएमके के स्टेट तमिलनाडु में है, इसी को बचाने के लिए वो जो है मेरा नाम ले रही है।
प्लीज बैठिए प्लीज।